everyone. Welcome to the 10th episode of the Knitting Spring podcast. My name is Tonya, and just as a little recap, I am coming to you from Manhattan, New York. This is my typical recording location. The last time I podcasted, it was from my family's house in Pittsburgh with my niece and a brief sighting of my nephew. It was so much fun to podcast with Adeline, and we really had a good time. She enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to podcasting again in the future. So next time we get together, we'll sit down and speak to you again as a pair. Additionally, you can find me as Cheeky Monkey on Ravelry, Cheeky Monkey 1 on Instagram, and knitting. You can find all the show notes. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. It's been a couple weeks. The show notes are on knittingspring.com. I am looking to a great knitting year and just a year in general. The end of 2015 was very positive for me. I've gotten to know quite a few knitting friends and all of you who watch me. Thank you all who introduce yourselves to me and reach out, and anyone who said hi to me at the Vogue Knitting Live on Saturday, which was yesterday. It was a wonderful event, and we'll get more to that at the end. And I just want to thank all of you who join me every week, and anybody who is a new subscriber or a new viewer checking me out for the first time. This podcast has really enriched my life, and all the new friends I've made. It's just been an honor to know you, and it's been great. It's really been a wonderful addition to my life and my knitting circle, and I'm really grateful for it. So let's get on to the good stuff, all the knitting, and then I definitely have some acquisitions this time for you once I get through my projects. Okay. The first thing is an FO, and if you saw me at the show yesterday, you saw me wearing this. This is my Iridium sweater out of Miss Babs Kilimanjaro. All the sleeves are done. Everything's woven in. It's been blocked, and etc. I am extremely happy about this. It was a wonderful knit, nice and easy. I've had a few people write to me and say that I do knit a lot of sweaters, and that is definitely one of my favorite things to knit is a sweater. It's one of my go-to things. Even when I'm looking for yarn or whatever, I'm always thinking in the back of my head, this would make a beautiful sweater. I do like knitting shawls and socks as well, but my first love is sweaters. I really enjoy making that and having something to wear and show off. But if you're thinking about it, or if you're nervous about knitting sweaters, for me personally, I think sweaters are easier than socks. It's much more forgiving, and you're not wearing it on your feet where there's a lot of abrasion. And I think you should give it a try if you've been hesitating. For me personally, I like knitting fingering weight sweaters. I went through my wardrobe and I looked at the weight of sweater that I typically buy, and they are not bulky like a worsted weight sweater. They're typically, I'd say, sport weight, maybe a DK, but I'd say most of them are a fine gauge sweater. The one I have on now is definitely a fine gauge sweater. If we were to knit it, it would be lace, but it's machine knitted, so it's a solid sweater, and that is a personal choice. I like the lighter weight, even though I live in a cold climate. My Rhinebeck sweater, the turtleneck I made for it, it was made out of worsted, and it's warm. I love it. I wore it the other day, and it was toasty warm. We had a very cold day. It was in the 20s or teens here, and it kept me warm like no other sweater I'd have in my closet. So worsted weight are really great. They do keep you warm, but for me, I think they add too much bulk to me. Not saying that I won't knit a worsted weight sweater in the future, but I think I'm going to stay on the lighter gauge of sweater knitting. And if I was going to start knitting a sweater, and if I've never knit one before, the first one I knit this year, or well, 2015, sorry, last year, was Hannah Feddick's sock sweater. Very simple construction, minimum waist shaping. For me, I don't have a large bust and I'm pretty straight up and down, so I do minimal waist shaping. That's what I did on this sweater, and it really helps. It comes in, and the yarn, the way pattern sort of helps bring my waist in a little bit, but for me, I have and I understand other women out there have to accommodate for the bust area. I don't have to do that, so for me, knitting sweaters is very easy, and all I have to worry about is the shoulder size, and then I can bring it down in to fit my torso region. But I would give that a try. Just get some sock yarn and knit up the sweater. It's an easy top-down raglan sweater. I know a lot of people like seams for structure, but I think if you haven't knit a sweater before, I think the top-down raglan is the easiest way to go. Excuse me. The directions are very well written, and if you, I did mine short sleeve the first time, so you don't have to worry about sleeve length. You know, it's a quick knit. You know, you can take your time, and it's not something that, I don't think it's that complicated. Even if you're a beginner knitter, I think that would be a great sweater to start out with. And it's a pullover. It's not a raglan. You don't have to worry about button bands and etc. It's very simple. Collar, sleeves, ribbing at the bottom, you know, and then just the stockinette in the middle. So anybody out there who's trepidatious about knitting a sweater, I would say dive into it. Get some yarn you love, or get a neutral. You know, black, gray, brown, whatever your neutral of choice is. It's something that goes with everything, and it could be a staple in your wardrobe, and it could be something that you end up loving. Okay, so, but what am I doing next? I cast on a whole bunch of things. Let's see, what do I want to start with? I'll start with a few of the small things. I cast on a hat for myself because I've knit literally a hat for all of my knit-worthy friends and family, and I've never, well, I have made a hat for myself, but it's in shambles by now. So I decided it was high time to make a hat for myself. And I am doing it's called I think it's called the Basic Slouchy. Oh, it's called the Kendall. Here's the hat. It's just a basic slouchy hat, and it's by the Sitting Tree, and I think it's Elizabeth Murphy. Yes, Elizabeth Murphy is the pattern designer by that, and she has a lot of other lovely things. She has a little acorn ornament, etc. So even if you're not interested in a hat, and she's not sponsoring this or anything, I check out some of her other patterns. I think she has a nice collection. And I am using Fable Fibers Biography, the Amelie colorway, and I think it's knitting up beautifully. It's totally my colors, pinks, purples, and this is like the perfect yarn for a slouchy hat. And I did 3 inches of ribbing on a size 5 needle, and then for this just stockinette, I am using size US 7, which I think is a 4.25 millimeter. And I have my little Miss Babs octopus stitch marker, and I'm just in love with this little fella. And I have all this inside of my Naughty Gnomes project bag, and you can see my little buttons on there, but I really like this bag. Very well made, and I love patchwork. I really like the patchwork. That's what drew me to this bag. The next project I have on the needles, I think almost everything is for myself because I'm ready to give myself some knitterly love. And this is a pair of socks that I started Friday night, I think I cast these on. And I was knitting on these yesterday at Vogue Knitting Live. And it's just a basic vanilla sock. I cast on 14 stitches. I did the seamless round toe, and I have 64 stitches on here, and I'm using US size 0 2.0 millimeter needles, and I use 2 circulars to knit mine. And you can see this is that's how much I knit yesterday. So I just was sort of seeing as we were sitting around chatting and talking, and in between breaks from the market floor, etc. So I got a little bit of work done on these, and believe it or not, this also will be the first pair of socks for me. I knit a whole bunch of socks for Christmas presents, and fiddling around and actually doing that sort of helped me to get something that I will like for myself. And the yarn that I'm using is Spartacus Dyes, and this was a Gilmore Girls Club 2015, and this is the October colorway, and it is National Baptism Day, and it's on her Will and Grace sock, which is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 100 grams, 400 yards. And at the moment, I think she's taking a break from dyeing. I hope it's not a permanent break. I think this is knitting up beautifully. I'm really enjoying this yarn. I love the colors, and this is how the cake is. It's a little messy from in and out of the bag yesterday, and I think this is going to make a really nice sock. So right now I just have about 3 inches I've knit so far on this sock, and I'd like to have, I'm not a quick sock knitter like Mina, so if I can get a pair of socks for myself done in a couple weeks, I'll be very happy. So that's the goal, to have a pair of socks for myself by the end of this month, January. Then I've cast on a new sweater, and very excited about this. Let's see if I have the pattern. I do not have the pattern. I'll insert a picture of the pattern here, but it is ribby, and it's called the Ribby Sweater, and it's by Olga Burya Kefelian. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I know the Olga writes part. It's her last name that's a little tricky. And I am using Wool and Vine yarn in the Stellar Banshee colorway. Beautiful. This stuff is just like marshmallow soft. It is just going to be, I have a long way to go, but I absolutely cannot wait to wear this sweater because it is just beautiful, and it's knitting up lovely. I have it on waist yarn right now because I was trying it on to make sure that I had everything right and it was fitting the way that I wanted to. The reason I did that is because I did a gauge swatch, and the size 5s was giving me, I think she wanted either 4 or 5 stitches per inch, and I was getting like 7. So I went down to 4s, and I think I got like 5.5, and I'm like, well, I can deal with 5.5, and I'll just go down a size. But when I did that, I said, well, I'll probably have to go down because she recommends a size 3, 4, and 5 in the pattern, and this is all on the Ravelry page. But so I decided to go down to a 2, 3, 4. Well, when I cast on for the neck with the 2s and the 3s, it just sat right really tight around my neck. So I ripped out and I cast on with size 4s. And it's a little loose in the ribbing more than I would like, but it sits better, and I like the way it looks better. So it's not a tight ribbing, but it looks much nicer when I put it on, so I'm much happier with it. So I've got to put the needles back in, and I just have a bunch of stitch markers on here to help me, and I have a little progress keeper on here so I know, to make sure I know this is the front, because there's a lot of ribbing in this. It's called the Ribby. And then I am using a stitch marker that is from Jenny the Potter, and it's just it has a little stitch pattern on there. And I am using, like I said, I'm using US size 3s. I will probably use the 3s for the bind off on the wrist, because I would like that to be, I don't want to be cinch type, but I would like it to, this type of sweater to grab on my wrist and not be loose on the wrist. So I'm keeping size 3s in here for that. And I have 4 skeins of this, so I know I have plenty of yarn to finish this. And the bag I am currently using, but will shortly be changing out of, is a sweater size bag from Bags by Awesome Granny, and the fabric's based on Frida Kahlo's work. I really love the pattern, and that's what the fabric is what got me on this one. And then it has a little matching notions pouch, and I have all of that. But this evening after I finish recording, and you will see why, I'll be switching to a new bag. All right, my 4th whip I have in progress. I talked about this the last time I podcast with my niece, and I showed this to you. And hold on, let me just make sure I have it. Okay, it's still a basic vanilla sock by me, but it is my brother's knee sock. So I think I showed you, I think I was all the way up. I'm not sure if I was all the way up to the foot. I'm pretty sure I was. All the way up through the heel on this, and ready to cast on the second foot. And then I'm going to do the leg 2 at a time, because my brother has 20-inch calves. So I'm thinking by the time I get done with the first sock, I'm not going to want to do that. So I'm going to do the legs 2 at a time. So I just need to cast on for the second sock, but I don't have 2 sets of zeros, so I'm waiting for that second set of zeros to come in to cast this on. But this is also Woolen Vine Yarns, and it is on her Strassa base. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's Footsie, and the color is Dirty on Purpose. And I did 7 cast on my Turkish cast on 7. I think I did 20 for my brother, and then I did 72 stitches for his foot. And then I have a sock recipe. Well, not a recipe, but it is a pattern. It looks like a girly pattern, but I think it's going to help me to develop what I need to do for knee socks for him, and help me figure out so blah, 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 blah. Let me move on here. Let me tell you what that is. The knee sock pattern I'm using is called Delicious Knee Socks by Laura Chow. And I'll insert a picture of that in case you're interested in knee socks for yourselves, or a spouse or husband or friend, father, brother like me. So I'll put that in, but I think that's going to help me determine when to start increasing and figure everything out. I measured his leg and foot and all of that stuff when I was home at Christmas, and I have all that written down. So there's going to be some figuring out for those socks, and fingers crossed that when they're finished, because he's not around to try them on, that they work. I really hope they do. I'm actually really excited about getting these to him, but I have a few things to finish for myself first, because I had just finished deadline knitting, and I don't want any more deadline knitting for at least another month. But I have birthdays coming up this spring. But for the moment, I'm trying to do some things for myself and relax and not worry about what's coming next. What do I have to do next? I want to just sit down, turn on something or listen to something and just relax, and not saying, I need to get this done. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that right after the holidays, etc., and everything that's coming up. And then the last few things I have are sort of this is either I take my sock with me if I have a sock going, or I have this, I consider this my travel bag to grab, and I always have it ready to go in case I'm in between something to knit on, or if I don't have something small, or I haven't cast on the next sock. But this is my Homespun House bag. This is the very first project bag I ever got, and it's by Molly from a Homespun House. And these little lightning bugs and jars I just thought were so charming. And let me tell you, she's really made this bag very well, because it in and out of all kinds of situations. It's been on a plane, it's been on trains, it's been on subways, it's been on buses, it's been in and out of all kinds of bags, and this thing looks great. I mean, it is held up so, so well. And what I keep in here, for the moment I can do this, and I'm sure in the near future or the next few months, I'm not going to be able to carry this around in there anymore. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to carry it around at all, but I have this first row for my Cozy Memories blanket, and I've shown parts of this on the podcast. But this is, I'm not sure if I've shown this one, but this was yarn I made for my friend's Christmas socks. And then this is a mystery mini skein that I can't find the tag or anything to that I got at Rhinebeck, but oh my gosh, I'm going to have to figure it out because I need socks out of this. And then this is my deep sea jellyfish that I just made my sweater out of. And then I've cast on with 3 Irish girls. I can't remember the name, but it was one of the minis that Kristen gave me. So I'm slowly incorporating all these in here. These 2 were from Kristen, so it's lovely. It's a nice mixture and definitely a memory blanket. And I think I have 9 squares going across, and I was laying this across my bed, and I think I'm going to add, I want 11. I want 11 squares across, and then I will start adding down on the blanket and start going vertical. And I have no particular plan. I kind of like the sort of higgly-piggly of adding something and it really being random. So I just reach in, I pick out a skein and just add it, and it's really a nice vibrant blanket already. And then the other project I keep in this bag, and these are always in here, is I made everybody washcloths, 3 washcloths each for their birthday last year. So I wasn't ready to get into any big projects for anyone last year. I just wanted to give them a handmade gift, and so I made washcloths. Well, I have a whole bunch of scraps left over from that, and even, skeins that are like this big. And I believe it's all Knit Picks that I have that I bought. And this is Knit Picks Dishy, this particular one, and this color is Kanai, or Kanau, or Kanai. But it's like a blue-green, and I don't remember what the bottom color is, but it is also Knit Picks. It's either the Knitalong or the Dishy. Those are the 2 that I used last year. And I'm just striping this, just using little bits of yarn. You can see I have these little balls in there that I'm also going to add. And I usually use the pattern where there's a garter ridge, and I'll show this again as I'm going along, but this is just so nice and easy. I can knit on this anywhere. I can knit it at lunch. I can grab and go with it, and there's no hurry. These are just for me. I knit 2 for myself last year and absolutely love those washcloths. I mean, if I could have 100 of those and that's all I ever used, I'd be really happy about it. I know they're knitted and there's work in them, but I just love the way they feel on my face. I use them for my face, to wash my face. They feel so much more delicate, but more, I know it sounds weird, but it feels like it exfoliates more, but it also is soft enough that I don't feel like I'm scrubbing. I think my voice is a little tired from talking so much yesterday. Really had a good time. And I believe that is all the things that that's it. I have like 5 project bags of things that I've been working on and carrying around with me, etc. Let me just check my show notes here. Sucks for me. So, some of the things that I would like to cast on. I know I already have 4 things on the needles, but I still would like to have like a shawl going, and I'm really torn between, well, I do have yarn that I picked up yesterday that I'll show you for Sarah Stevens from O Loops, her 74 shawl, and she has a knit-along going for that, and I really like that. And then I also saw and felt Mina's Highlands Peaks shawl that she knit, and she's going to be publishing soon. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful, and she used Malabrigo yarn for it, Malabrigo worsted. It is squishy, soft, warm, big, beautiful, just a beautiful shawl. And I'm not sure, but it has really like this pretty lace edge on it, and that's something I haven't done before, and so I'm interested in that. So I'm kind of torn, but I have yarn for one, and I need to shop for yarn for the other one. Not like I didn't shop yesterday, but I didn't find anything that I was interested in for Mina's shawl. Most of the things that I found were fingering weight. I'm really drawn to color. Excuse me. I know some people pick patterns and look for a yarn to go with it. I'm the opposite. I am totally drawn and interested in color is the first thing I look for. And then I look for, is it the right yarn? Can I use it for that? And then, so I have this yarn, and then I look for a pattern to match. And typically I like simple things. I don't like a lot of intricate work on my body. I think mitts or hats, something like an accessory is fine. I haven't gotten into pattern socks because I'm very new sock knitter. I'm not sure if I'll ever do pattern socks, maybe ribbing, but I sort of like simple textures, and I like the yarn to speak for itself, and maybe I'll do a little bit of color work or maybe some ferrule on a yoke or something. I don't have plans to do that this year, maybe next year, because I do have a whole slew of sweaters that I have planned out, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So I am toying between those two shawls to cast on as well, and I'm not sure. I may or may not have one of those cast on the next time I talk to you guys, so we'll see. And I talked a little bit about my goals when I talked to you with my niece Adeline, and they're pretty much the same. I really want to learn how to pick or flick with my right hand. I don't know, I might try Continental, but I need to find a project, and I think maybe my Cozy Memories blanket or the dishcloths that I have. Sorry, something's flickering. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I did take care of something for my computer. But what was I saying? Oh, my goals. So, as I've said, I really would like to learn a different way to knit, to at least hold my yarn. Whether that's continental, picking, flicking. I'm going to try a couple things out. I'm going to use my Cozy Memories blanket or the washcloths that I'm working on. It's just that I'd like to knit just a little faster, not for any particular speed reasons or anything. It's just that I would like to have some of my things faster. I would like to have at least 6 socks by the end of the year. And excuse me. And I would like to just have some more things like that I can have and wear. And I just don't think, for me personally, it has nothing to do with anyone else. I just would like to have them and be able to wear them. And I just feel like I'm getting there, but not as fast as I'd like to. And like I said, I have a whole slew of sweaters I'd like to do this year. I have, after this sweater I'm working on, I already have planned the In Stillness sweater. I think it's by Alicia Plummer, and the Madeline cardigan. And I'll put all that information in the show notes, but that's the things that I'm planning on doing. And the cardigan I'm particularly looking forward to because I've never done a button band, and that's something that is new for me, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then I have, I think, 6 or 7 other sweaters and yarn already picked out for it, and to go through. And I'd like to have those and be able to wear them. I'm not worried about the sweaters as much as I'd like to have socks for myself. I really like Kristen's idea of a box of socks. I like that O-Loops is doing their 100 sock Operation 100 socks. And I'd really like to just have socks myself. And I'm not really a sock wearer around the house. But, in the colder months, you wear socks every day with your shoes. I do. I have to walk to the subway and walk around the city. So cozy toes are a necessity, and I think those socks would be great. And some of the other things, I typically use an OMG heel right now, which I'm very comfortable with. I love it. It fits my heel very well, and the others that I've knit the heel with, but I'd really like to try the Fish Lips Kiss heel. Sorry, I had to look down for that to make sure I say it right, and try a different heel type. I would like to really learn how to drop spindle. And even if I'm only getting yarn to add to my Cozy Memories blanket, that's fine for me for this year. I am not looking to make garments from it or anything. I would just like to use some of the fiber that I have and learn how to spin. It looks very relaxing. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm trying with some luck, but what I'd like to do with that to help encourage me is Jenny from the Tiny Paper Foxes is doing the Craft 20, so my 20 minutes a day, I would like to sit and drop spindle. So I'm going to try to take 20 minutes a day starting in February, and even if it's yarn right away that it's not something I love, something I can even use, it's still, I need to get to, and the only way to do that is to do it. So I need to just take my time and learn, and I would really like to take a drop spindling class when one comes available that's close to me. So that's another thing I'd like to do. And then I'd like to sew a little bit more. I don't know how much more. Setting up for sewing for me is a little bit of a task. I don't have a place to set up my sewing machine all the time. It lives underneath a table typically, and but I would like to incorporate that into my crafting life, even if it's just making little bags or sewing up some skirts. I like the skirt pattern that Vanessa from Kilda Craft podcast showed. I think that's lovely. I had a skirt similar to that years ago, and I like the little flair and the flirtiness of it, and I'm a big Project Runway fan. I don't know if I've said that before or not, but season 8, Mondo did this like paper bag sort of flouncy skirt. I don't know how I'm ever going to make that, but I love that look. It's totally me, the look that he did for I don't know if you watched or but for I think it was like the second or third challenge, they did a Mary Claire challenge, and he did this beautiful like houndstooth fabric skirt, and it had a paper bag waist. I don't know if I'd do a paper bag waist for myself, but the bottom of it was really cute, flirty, flouncy, and it looked great with tights or leggings. So that's something that's a way future goal for me, but that's something that I'd really like to try to figure out because I really like that. And I think that's it. I think that's more than enough. I have things that projects I want to work on, and just I love knitting and keep doing this podcast because I'm really enjoying it. So that's sort of my goals or ideas that I have for myself. We'll see what the future brings. You never know what's going to come up. But yes, that is the plan at the moment. All right, I'm going to talk about knitting excursions first before I get to stash enhancement. My first knitting excursion that I've had recently is I met up with Mina from the knitting oh my gosh, why can't I think of her? Sorry, the Knitting Expat Podcast. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that totally slipped my mind. I'm so sorry, Mina. We met up anyways. Mina and I met up last week. We had dinner together at a lovely restaurant down near Madison Square Park and had such a wonderful dinner. We chatted and talked and had a wonderful meal. It was really enjoyable. It was so nice to spend time with her. And I love that she visits. I look forward to every time she comes. I'm not sure when she's going to be here next, but I can't wait already. So I know she left today, and she is definitely going to be missed. And I saw her again yesterday. So my next knitting excursion is Vogue Knitting Live. It was definitely better than last year, so I've been told, and definitely better than the first time I went. Great vendors. The first place I stopped was Do You Knit? Such a wonderful shop. The ladies there are wonderful and helpful, and it was so bright and cheery over there. And I got to meet the owner, who was just, oh, she's just so full of energy and smiles and so helpful. And I am definitely going to her shop. I don't know if she's watching, but I will definitely be visiting your shop in the near future. That was my very first stop. It was the very first place I wanted to go. She had a plethora of hedgehog fibers yarn, and I got to meet a few of you when I was there, and I really enjoyed meeting you. Thank you so much for coming up and saying hi. I was so flattered. It was so great to meet you and say hi, and thank you so much for watching and participating, being in the group, and anybody who's left comments to me or introductions. They are so appreciated, and it was fun to be recognized. It was really great, and to meet the ladies who watch me, and it really felt good. It really did feel good, and definitely to see your faces, because I know you see mine all the time, but it was lovely to see yours and say hello and chat with you a little bit. After Do You Knit, I hit a few other places, and then I took a break because it was, oh my gosh, it was blazing hot in those ballrooms. I had my jellyfish sweater, which is a fingering weight sweater, and just a little tank top underneath it, and I was so hot in there. So I took a break, got some fresh air, came back and sat down and saw Mina and Steven, and Gabby was there, Jenny was there, then Carlene and Kristen showed up, and we all sat around and chatted for a little bit, and then we broke up into different groups, and I went shopping with Jenny and her husband Devin, who I got to meet, and he is just as lovely in person as he is on camera. Very knowledgeable, so intelligent, and it was fun to talk to him about his knitting experiences and what he was looking for, etc. So that was a lot of fun. So we hit the floor again, walked around, and then we all end up gathering around a table for the afternoon that actually overlooked the sixth floor of the showroom, the marketplace, and see the fashion show going on. And we sat and knit, and we all definitely took a break. It definitely gets exhausting. I know shopping for yarn shouldn't be, but you all know, most of you have been there and know how tiring it can get. As much fun and excitement it is, I think all that excitement and adrenaline, just being around all that yarn and beautiful colors and the accessories, definitely wears you out. So then we headed out, had a little bit of dinner, and then we went over to the podcaster meetup and spent another few hours knitting, talking, having cocktails, which is, can't ask for a better combination, cocktails and knitting and chatter, and got to meet some more of you over there, which was so great. Everyone who came, that was lovely, and it was a nice space, and they were so wonderful and gracious, and the doorman even asked me what we were doing, if it was knitting or crochet, and told me that his mother was a crocheter, and I chatted with him for a little bit, and yeah, he was actually interested, so that was kind of fun, even though they had football blasting. But if you're a football fan, good for you, but for me, we were all hoping they would have a knitting podcast going on the screen for us to enjoy, but it's a bar, so sports. And then we parted ways and said our farewells for the moment until I see everybody again. But it was just such a wonderful day. I had such a good time, and yeah, I can't wait to see them all again. So I had a lovely day, and just so nice to be around other knitters and knitting and talking, and you all know what that's like. So it was really great. I had a wonderful day, and I think I have some pictures I can put at the end of the podcast to share with you all. So Vogue Knitting Live leads into stash enhancements, but one more knitting excursion I have coming up in the future. I have definitely decided I'm going to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I don't have all of my travel plans situated out, but my godmother lives near where the Maryland Sheep and Wool event, so I've got all of that situated with her, and I can't wait to spend the weekend. And she's an occasional knitter, so we're going to spend a knitting weekend together and go to some yarn shops, etc. So that is a definite for me, and I will just have to figure out the mode of transportation I am to get to the DC area. That's the only thing I have left to do. But yes, I'm going, and I'm looking forward to it. It's already on my calendar. All right, stash enhancements. So I have one of the best things I've gotten this week. Absolutely my favorite. Mina from the Knitting Expat podcast made me a project bag. And it is so me, the colors, the building, the streetscape. I love the little trees and the geometric. And this bag is so well made. I know a lot of you have her bags. I was so impressed. This is the first bag I got from her. And it is everything and more than you can imagine. It is just absolutely beautiful. And she also included in the bag for me a little bag of, oops, I don't know if you can see, well, there's a little bag of sweets. And then she also made a coordinating notions pouch for me, which is great because that was on my shopping list for the weekend. So it's like she knew. And then she also provided me with some minis. I haven't taken this out because I didn't want to ruin everything, but she definitely picked out all the pinks and purples that she had in her stash, and even a little bit of blue, which I love. But yes, she knows me, and she just gave me the most lovely bunch of minis. So I was very excited about that. And then she gave me a little card with pictures of her adorable cats. And I just think they're just so lovely, and a very nice note. And then I'm keeping this in a Ziploc bag because this is a project bag that she donated to the podcast for a future giveaway. And thank you, Mina, so much for that. She says everybody who looks at this has a different interpretation of what they see. And I love that. And I think that gives me an idea for the giveaway. But I love this. I really love it. It's beautiful. And I'm just keeping it in a Ziploc bag just so it stays nice and clean. And so that when I ship it to you, it's in tip-top shape for you. So I'll put that back when I'm finished podcasting. And then when I was at my family's house for Christmas, I know it's early, but I was trying to get an idea of some ideas for gifts to knit this year. I decided I want to do the Voodoo You Love Me doll for my niece for her birthday. So I'm looking for yarn for that. It's worsted weight, and I'm looking around for yarn to start with that, but that's probably won't be started until like February because her birthday's in March. And then she had told me she always wanted a pair of over-the-knee knee socks. So I did buy her a pair for Christmas because there was no way I could knit her a pair for Christmas. But when I was there, I had her pick out a colorway from the Hot Shot line from Miss Babs because that base really turned out well for my friend's socks, and I thought that would be a great place. And I had a square on my blanket for her to feel and see if she liked the yarn. So that was like perfect. So we ended up, well, actually my niece, I gave her, taught her how to go through the website, and she picked out about 5 different colors, and then we showed them to my niece, and this was my niece's final pick for her mother for over-the-knee knee socks. And this is Miss Babs. It's a Mad Hatter colorway, and it's on her Hot Shot base, which is a 3-ply fingering yarn, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. And so I have 2 because I think 2 skeins should be enough to make her over the knee socks. I know that's a lot, but I think that's going to work because those are long. All right, I think that's it for, purchases that I made before Vogue Knitting Live. While at Vogue Knitting Live, I had a list of different notions I was looking for, and one of the things on my list was notions pouches, because I like to have one in every bag. I know I can move my notions pouch from bag to bag, but sometimes I forget or I'm in a hurry and I just grab a bag. So I got this lovely bag. It's just black with, it's nylon fabric. It's really nice actually, and it's from Della Q, and it's a nice little notions pouch. And actually I haven't even opened it. I just got it yesterday and I was looking at all the yarn, but it's just black nylon inside, but it feels like it's going to be nice and sturdy, and I really like it. It feels very sturdy. And then I found this little guy with all the skulls. I'm thinking, Kristen, you might like this, but maybe not. But I love the sort of the Day of the Dead skulls. And this is made by Knitting Garage. And so it's a cute little, I love the skulls. These like sugar candy skulls or Day of the Dead, but I loved all the colors. And then Vogue Knitting Live had a booth at the show, and I stopped by there and I got one of theirs. And I really liked it. It had the 3 different zippers to put different things in, and like a little shallow pocket here. I really like that, and I'm kind of wishing I'd gotten more from there, but you know, c'est la vie. And then also from the Vogue Knitting booth, I got one of the tape measures that is really nice. These are really, really nice tape measures. And it has nice big writing on there. I really like that. A lot of tape measures are teeny tiny, and this has nice large numbers. So I really like that, and it really springs back. Also from that booth, I got a knitting journal. I wasn't planning on getting one of these, but I was browsing at the booth, and I opened this up, and it is really lovely. I don't have any plans for design at the moment, but you can see on the inside, I'm trying to see around, I don't know if you can see that, maybe that's a little better. You can see it has lines and a place for a photo, and then towards the back, it has graph paper for designing, and you can start a project and design, and this probably, I think, is going to help for my brother's knee sock. So I actually didn't think I would be designing anything, but even though I'm modifying something, I think this is really going to come in handy, and it has the little, you know, elastic band to keep it shut, and it's hard bound, so it's going to really wear well, and it has spiral binding. So I really like that it was spiral bound, and I haven't even been through all this, but it has some patterns in the back. It has standard information. You can put your measurements in there, standard measurements for different child sizes, like chest size for a 12-month-old baby it's an average of 18. So if you're trying to figure out standard inches and common abbreviations, and then, so it's just a wealth of information in this little book. And this was only $7 at the show, so wow, what a value. I don't usually like talking about pricing and stuff like that, but I mean, how can you pass that up? I mean, you know, Barnes & Noble doesn't sell journals that inexpensively. And another little thing I got were these skull stitch markers, and I've been wanting skull stitch markers for a very long time. And this lovely lady who made them, and I have her card here. I kept it out on purpose, but I was talking to her, and I think I might write to her and get a pair of earrings made out of these. She said I could write to her and she'd make me a pair of earrings, and how funky cool would that be? I know it's not for everyone, but I thought it would be kind of neat. I wear black a lot, and I was thinking about getting of course, the bright pink skulls made into earrings. So I love that. She made a pair, I think, for either her daughter or her daughter-in-law, and I was like, I'd definitely buy those. And she said, email me and I make you a pair. So I'll let you know how that turns out. And I think we are on to all of the yarn. When I met up with, after I did some shopping on my own in the morning, I met up and I was talking to Jenny, and she was showing off some of her yarn that she had bought that morning, and she went to a booth called Narwhal Needleworks, and I felt that yarn, and I was like, take me there. We have to go. And I was very good, but this is the tag, Narwhal Needlework, and this is such a squishy, beautiful, it's a little bit darker. I love the darkness of it. It's very muted, but it's got like sort of purples and this golden hue and plummy colors and gray in there. It's just absolutely lovely. It's coming off more saturated than it is in real life. It's definitely muted. This is definitely coming off very sort of bright saturated colors, which looks lovely, and it's just as lovely in person, but it's definitely much more muted. It has definitely a gray tone to it. And I had a whole armful of all these different colorways in my hand, and I was like, take it back, Tonya. Don't make more yarn, you know. So I bought enough for a sweater. Like I said, I'm always planning for a sweater. And then I stopped by, one of the people on my list was, that I really wanted to see was the Burton Griffin. Am I saying that right? Yeah, the Burton Griffin. And I got to meet the dyer when I was there. And it's a gentleman that dyes, and he is so interesting. Lovely guy, has definitely an artistic vibe, and you can see, it's hard to see, this is his blue, but you can kind of see the tonality and the layering of color that he does. It's just beautiful. Wonderful job. And this is called Athena, is this colorway. Is definitely more green. This is coming off cobalt on screen, but it's definitely more teal, in the teal family of blues rather than cobalt. So it's definitely not dark navies. It's definitely tonal teals. And you can see a little bit more. That's a little bit, not quite as close, but check out Burton Griffin if you want to see that. And then I just got a plain gray. I thought maybe these two would turn into a beautiful two-color shawl, because the teal and the gray really do, if you see it in person, really do work well together. But so that was another stop. And then I went to Dragonfly Fibers. That was another one on my list that I've been wanting to try. Tried going to their booth at Rhinebeck, but it was there. Literally, there were probably like 35 people to get out of line, and I was like, I'll go and order online, but I just never did. And I saw them at Vogue Knitting Live, and I had to stop there. So they had a Vogue Knitting Live colorway, and I just love it. It's this beautiful teal with this like burnt orange and these golden sort of yellows and oranges in there. Just absolutely beautiful. And there's quite a bit of yardage in this. This is on their Pixie base, and it's 475 yards, and it's 100% superwash merino. So I'm thinking about making this into a t-shirt, t-shirt sweater. So I thought that would be really nice. And I'm thinking about using actually the Hannah Feddick sock yarn sweater that I talked about earlier. Just a nice simple sweater, and I think it would really just have a nice little t-shirt made out of this. I think that would be lovely. And then the other thing I really wanted to get from them was their Dejini sock. And this is 420 yards, and it's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, and the color is black pearl. So black and gray, can't go wrong with that. And then the very first stop that I made was, you can see my project, the shopping bag I carried around with me, was Dounit. And I definitely indulged at Dounit. I love hedgehog fibers. I think it makes beautiful garments. I haven't used their twist sock yet from the club I was in, but that's a sock that I want to get on the needles after my current one. But I was looking for the graphite in their sock yard, but it was already sold out. I was even there early in the morning, and it was already gone. So I'm just going to have to make a trip to Dounit in Westfield, New Jersey, and darn, right? Yeah, it's too bad. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll definitely be a nitty trip in the future. But I got the Merino DK, and this is the Potluck 1 colorway. And I'm trying to read. This is 115 grams, and it is 100% merino wool. And I think the color is totally me. I mean, that just has me written all over it. So this is the 3 skeins I got that for the 74 shawl by Sarah Stevens. And I think this would be so lovely in that pattern. And she asked for, calls for a DK weight yarn, and this thing is squishy soft, and I think that would make a lovely shawl. And then I also saw one of their new colorways, I believe, is Film Noir. Again, gray, black, pink. Surprise. So I really like this, and this is in their skinny singles, and I don't have any plans for that. I just really like the colorway, and I've never gotten any of their skinny singles before, so I thought I'd just pick it up. I really like the color, and it'll be something in the future. And then to venture out a little bit, I got another skinny single in this colorway, and I think this is Budgie. And I think that is really pretty, these different tonal blues with a little pop of yellow. And then this is such an incredible blue. Again, this is definitely in the cobalt range. It's not as bright. My screen just loves to saturate everything out, but really looks good on camera, and it looks beautiful. It's called Electric. You can see why. This beautiful electric blue, and I think that would look really nice on me, or even a present. I think this blue would look great on a variety of people. So it's just skinny single, and I just have one hank of this. So either a gift or something for me. I don't know, but I really, really had fun at their booth. And then I think, then the last thing I got, I just wanted another pair of scissors, and they were inexpensive. And I got these from the Twisted Fiber Arts, and I just like these little metal scissors. So to put in one of my Notions bags. And that, I believe, is that. So I don't think that was too bad for me, but I did have a wonderful, wonderful time at Vogue Knitting Live, and I am in love with my yarny goodness that I got. So definitely a good day for stash enhancements. All right, so let's talk about my Knitalong just for a bit. Currently, I have the Wool and Vinyl Long going for my continually going Knitalong that'll feature different indie dyers every few months. This first one is with Wool and Vine Yarns, and there are already a couple of entries in the thread, and they look beautiful, and thank you for putting those in, ladies. I really like what you're working on, and this runs to February 29th. It's a leap year this year. And whips are allowed. So if you got something new from Kristen's latest update, I would love to see if somebody knit something out of the Bowie colorway that she just dyed up. I love that. And I know she's going to tweak that a little bit, like she said. And her beautiful Valentine's Day colorway. So if anybody's making something with those, definitely share those in the thread, and Kristen will be donating a skein of yarn. She'll be sending it out to me, and when I receive it, I will share it with you. But yes, the prize will be a skein of Wool and Vine yarn. Who could ask for more than that? And plus knitting with her beautiful yarn. So I have 2 projects of my own, and definitely more in the future. And so come over, join, chat. I just have one thread open. When I draw, I'll just keep drawing until I get a finished object. So actually that's easier for me. I know it's harder for other people, but one thread and everything can go in there, and I can just go through and look. So all the rules are in the thread at the beginning. Take a picture of finished object. Whips are allowed. Wool and Vine yarn, of course. And then what I'm planning on for So that takes us through February. And then what I'm planning on for March and April, so I'm going to do a different dyer every 2 months going forward. Maybe at Christmas time I might stretch it out again for like 3 months because so much is going on around that and we're knitting on so many things. And so maybe around Christmas time again, I'll stretch that out to like 3 months just to make that easier for everybody and there's no pressure because I don't want pressure for Knitalong. So again, I'm doing Miss Babs in March and April, and one of the couple of things I have planned if I get to them is a Way-It shawl in Miss Babs and the In Stillness sweater that I'll be working on I have for Miss Babs. Like I said, I'm just sort of picking dyers as I'm knitting through them. I really like indie dyers, and I believe probably 85 or 90% of my stash is indie dyers. I love them. I love their colors. I mean, I'm still like Malabrigo. I definitely use Cascade Superwash and Cascade yarn for different reasons. When I need a solid color, like for different things for my brother, or choice for the kids. But you know, Malabrigo, Manos de Uruguay, I really like all their yarns. But, you know, I just really like the artistic, I guess artisanal quality of the indie dyers, and I really like supporting them. And being an artist myself, I really like to support other artists and a knitter, and everything that we do is creative, and they put so much time and energy and beauty and share so much with us that I just think it's, I just like it. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's and just nothing more than that. Then I just like the beautiful colors from the yarn because, like I said, I'm drawn to color. And then so that's March, April, May, June, I'm going to do skeiny dipping. So May and June, I'm going to do skeiny dipping, and that gets us through the first half of the year. And I will include that in the show notes if you want to plan on joining, or if you're knitting a sweater maybe and you have some of that going, know that that's what we'll be doing for the first 6 months of the year for Knitalongs. And then current Knitalongs I'm participating in. I'm currently participating in the Down Cellar Studio Pigskin Party Cow, and that ends on February 6th, I believe, and I've accumulated a good number of points. I'm very happy about that, and I just put my sweater and my shawl in, so that was really exciting. And then I'm also going to participate in the 2016 Stash Down with Brownie Knits, and I found a lot of these through Mina's Knitalong thread she has in her Ravelry group, which is great. I mean, that was so great for me because a lot of these I just wouldn't have gotten around to. I have a whole list of podcasts that are going to be new to me to watch, but being busy, I try to get through everybody that I currently keep up with, and I try to add in somebody new each week, and it would take me a while to find these. Several of these are, I do watch now, but a couple of them were ones that I hadn't watched. So it was really great to see that. I'm definitely doing the Self-Indulgent Cow 2016 by the Arniacs. I'm definitely participating, obviously, in Mina's 2016 Sweater Along. I swear that was like tailored for me. And then I would really like to make the 74 shawl, and they're running a knit along with that in the O Loops group. And definitely, and then the Kildecraft sweater along. So those are all great for me. They fit sort of the projects I work on and things I'm interested in. So that's what I am currently participating in. I said a few episodes ago I haven't been reading that much lately, but I picked up Cuckoo's Calling on Audible. Well, I started it last December, believe it or not. I downloaded it and sort of periodically through 2015 was listening to it, but in the last week, I've finished it. I listened to it. It was great. I really like the main character, Corman Strike. It's well developed, very interesting mystery. I really enjoy her work, and it's by J.K. Rowling. She's using her pen name, Robert Galbraith as the author on that book. I highly recommend it through Audible. That's how I read listen to most of my books anymore. I'll either download in the morning, it depends on my mood. Some mornings I listen to books, some mornings I listen to podcasts, and sometimes I'll download something from NPR or something to listen on the train. I'm not a morning person, so I sort of go with my mood or the flow. Sometimes it depends on where I am. And sometimes I've exhausted all the audio podcasts as well. That's usually my first go-to. Then I've started right away The Silkworm, which is the second book in the series with Cormoran Strike. And I really like this second book. I really like the main character, Cormoran Strike. He is he's not this suave, sort of like romancy guy. He's got some grit to him, and I really like how she developed him. So if you like J.K. Rowling, which I know a lot of you do, and maybe many of you have read this series of books, but I'm just listening to them for the first time and enjoying them a lot. So I've actually listened to like 3 or 4 hours of this second book already, and really enjoy it. So I definitely recommend that. And then I have, all right. And then the last thing, I don't have this on because I didn't, when I wrote up my show notes on Friday, I didn't start this yet. I started watching Homeland today, and I'm really enjoying it. I know a lot of people have talked about it on different podcasts. A friend recommended it to me as well, and I'm definitely hooked on it to see what happens. It's interesting. I like spy kind of things, so it's right up my alley in that genre, and I'm just on season 1. I just started watching it earlier this afternoon, and while I was making, I made spaghetti bolognese this afternoon, which turned out pretty well, if I have to say so myself. So it's been a really nice Sunday, and I definitely wanted to do this today because the work weeks have been unpredictable when I get home lately, and I was afraid if I didn't do this today, it would be another week before I chatted with you guys, and I didn't want 3 weeks to go by. So thanks for joining me this week. Thank you, everybody who spends time for me, and all you knitting friends out there. You know who you are. I'm honored, and you enrich my life, and this has been great. So happy knitting, everybody. Happy 2016. I know it's a couple weeks in already, but I hope everyone has a wonderful year, and I look forward to sharing my year with you as well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.